Today, a new search is on for an island empire described in Homer's Odyssey. If this kingdom is found, it'll add a whole new dimension to the archaeological search for the truth behind Homer's stories. It'll mean the discovery of the home of Odysseus, the man who brought the Trojan horse to Troy and ended the Trojan War. Few locations in the Iliad and Odyssey are as important as an island kingdom called Ithaca, home of Odysseus. New evidence suggests that the location of Ithaca may have been found as discussed in Homer's writings, here off the western coast of Greece on an island called Kephallonia. Kephallonia lies in a small island group called the Ionian Islands. They lie at the very edge of a fault line between two tectonic plates. This is one of the most active earthquake zones on the planet. I'm here with Robert Biddlestone, who believes these earthquakes, maybe hundreds of them over the last 3,000 years, have hidden the location of Homer's Ithaca until now.
Right the way out to the sea there.
Well, the most important description in the Odyssey of where ancient Ithaca is supposed to be is when King Odysseus announces his identity, and he says, "My island of Ithaca lies furthest to the darkness of dusk," in other words, furthest to the west. And when you look at today's map of this part of the world, you find there's an immediate contradiction. Because the modern island of Ithaca doesn't lie furthest to the west, it lies furthest to the east.
So the description that Homer provides of Ithaca, this kingdom, doesn't match the current island of Ithaca.
No, it doesn't. So there's a mismatch, there's a contradiction. And I thought to myself, well, why? Why would he get the geography wrong?
Biddlestone's theory begins with identifying a deep ravine separating the westernmost portion of Kephallonia from the main body of the island. He believes this ravine was once a narrow seaway that has since filled in with rubble from earthquakes. If he's right, then the island, now called Kephallonia, was at one time two islands. And the island farthest west was Homer's Ithaca, making the maps which today call another island Ithaca incorrect.
There was sea, we're pretty confident here below, but it got filled up by this process of catastrophic rockfall.
Wow, so basically everything that we're seeing in this valley was up there on the mountain.
Exactly so. Before there was any of this rock slide, we had a marine channel going right the way through. So most scholars agree that this place where you and I are standing right now is ancient Sami, but what they haven't been able to figure out is really where ancient Ithaca was. And I believe it was over there, across this valley.
Since Biddlestone conceived his theory, he's gained fantastic insights from NASA global imaging software called Whirlwind. With it, he's been able to hover over the island electronically and comb for clues in 3 dimensions. With the aid of these images, Biddlestone set out to find specific features on the western portion of Kephallonia that fit with Homer's descriptions of Ithaca, like this bay.
In it, 2 headlands, projecting, sheared off, crouching from the harbour, shielded from waves, whipped up by blustering winds outside. Well, the fascinating thing is that the description of the harbour in the Odyssey matches almost exactly what we see in front of us.
Like Schliemann, Biddlestone is turning ancient poetry into a hunt for historical truths. And he's confident excavations here will eventually prove he's right.
They row inside the bay. They knew the bay of old. The ship ran up the beach for half its length at speed. Such strength was in the rowers' arms. So we've got to have some kind of sandy beach.
Wow, okay, so I see what you mean. We have sand.
We have sand.
No shortage of that. From sandy beaches to mountain peaks, Biddlestone is hot on Homer's trail.
Athene is speaking to Odysseus. She says to him, look up there and you will see your mountain of Mount Neriton, covered with waving foliage. And there it is.
To date, he believes he's identified 15 separate locations described on Ithaca by Homer more than 2,000 years ago. And each location is a clue that he hopes will one day lead to the palace of Odysseus himself. So we have, if I can oversimplify, we have a treasure map with all these points on it, but we never had where to start.
Well, that's right. And the exciting thing is this. Everyone's imagined that the treasure map was a map of a mythical treasure island, that it wasn't a real island anyway. You couldn't even find Ithaca, let alone identify particular mountains or places on it. But now we've got a real good chance of being able to demonstrate that Ithaca is real.